Hey everybody, happy Monday. Hope all is well. Happy Monday. Wait a little bit for people to come on in. I hope everybody had a great week so far for all of the mothers. I hope that you had a great week and a great Sunday and you were treated well and that you were spoiled. I really hope that you had a great Mother's Day. Hey Danny, how are you? Thank you for coming in on Monday. Happy Monday. I was just saying, I hope everybody treated their mom well and they had a great Sunday and hope you had a great week. Danny, I spoke to Michael. I emailed him. He said that you should be receiving your package from last week, and so just be on the lookout for that. Doing good. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. Yes. If you are coming in now or in the replay, I am sure that you will like and you will share and you will comment. For those individuals that will decide to come in a little bit, we are here on Mondays unless something else schedules at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And so, therefore, come on in, share with somebody else. And so, we like to talk all things travel. We do emphasis on cruising, but we'll also do other things, all inclusives, just travel in general, news, and just different things, and supporting each other as YouTube content creators as well. And so I was so excited about last week. Also, thank you, Danny, so much for deciding to help moderate that whole situation. I know Liz wasn't able to do it, and so I was excited about last week, Monday. I don't know about anybody else, but if you did not see last week's Monday's live, you have to go see last week Monday's live. It was such a great, and it wasn't long, but it felt like it was just so impactful and full of information regarding dealing with MSC cruises. And I think that if anything, if you have not done if you have not gone on the MSC cruise yet, I think that by the time you see the information from last week's live, that maybe it will convince you a little bit just to come on and to try MSC cruise. I thought it was a wealth of information. And so thanks everybody for coming in. Danny says, anytime me and Liz are a great team. Yes. I really appreciate y'all for coming in and moderating and just doing what y'all do. And so I just want to know what everybody thought about Monday. If you did see last week Monday, if what you thought about it, Danny or whoever's coming in, I see people coming in. Just let me know that you are here when you come in. If you saw last week's Monday's live, I just want to know what you thought about it. What information that you may not have known, but you do know now. Would you also decide to book a cruise with MSC? I know people have their loyalty. I know that they love to stay with one cruise line, especially if individuals that may have like a casino rate or something of that nature. But if there's like a cruise, a cheap cruise, and remember they do loyalty match, would you consider it knowing that you will go into this cruise not starting from the bottom, but you will go in with some perks, and the higher you go, you may get like priority embarkation, priority disembarkation. And so I thought that it was a wealth of information. And so I have gone on MSC cruises before, and I would love to go on it again. And I haven't booked it yet, but I'm looking for something of 2026. And possibly if there is something that comes up and is a really great deal that I could not pass up. I said on last week's live that already that we have some great deals. There's some great deals when it comes to people rave all the time about how you can get a cruise by yourself, solo cruisers, for under $300. Now that's not with, you know, gratuities and drink package or what have you. But even if you add all that stuff, still it would still be under 1,000 for a 3-day cruise, a getaway, and you get like so much. And so I think that is the way to go. Like for those individuals that feel like they don't have no money, they don't have enough money. I think that MSC Cruises is the way to go. Good evening, Atlanta C. Thank you for coming on. I was just kind of talking about last week and what's our perspective of for the live, and what did everybody think when it came to MSC Cruises and the live. I thought it was informational, and I thought it was good, and I want to do more things of that nature. I want to showcase cruise lines, maybe cruise lines that people have not gone on, or maybe if you've gone on it, maybe things that you have not known about the cruise line that would just amaze you, and also to be able to know of some things that are coming up that maybe not be necessarily in the public or not may necessarily in the forefront of everybody's mind right now. For example, we talked about last week. We talked about last week about the cruise coming out next year. So everybody's going crazy about, of course, MSC World America. They're excited about that. And so therefore that's kind of like in the news right now. But then we were able to say, like, there's another cruise ship coming out, and they have more cruise ships coming out, and they're sailing out of different ports of call also. And so I thought that was really good information for people to know. I've never sailed out of Galveston. Has anybody sailed out of Galveston? Um, I feel like Galveston is like Port Canaveral in terms of being able to get to the port, right? It's so the closest, I believe, airport would probably be major airport would be Houston, and so therefore you would just have to take, get something. I heard there's like something called Galveston Express. When it comes to Port Canaveral, for example, it's like an hour away from the airport. So if you come in a day before, for example, I love GoPort. I have used GoPort more than once. They'll pick you up from the hotel because I usually like to do a day before, and I've never done where I came in on the day of the cruise. I just never did. The anxiety would be too high, and so I just always do the day. I will also always do like the day before, and being able to get picked up from the airport, or if I decide to go back to the airport or from the hotel and taken to the port, I think it's such a great thing. So no, you never did Galveston before. I watched a replay and I can't wait to try World America. World America. Yes, I don't know if I may try a new one next year. I'm really thinking about it. I'm looking for like a great deal. And I would love to. I think there are people who are there have a lot of people who have compared it to like the Icon, and I thought I saw a content creator. I didn't really get a chance to see it, to see like, okay, what is the different between the two, and what they liked about each. One more than the other, and so I think it's just a different vibe in general. So I want to go on Royal Caribbean. I'm looking to go on it this year. And so when I go on it this year, I get to see like, okay, I get to see like more or less the vibe of all these different things. So Landis, he's not sure if I am ready for Icon. I think, well, okay, so Icon is massive. And so I was in port in Nassau. So Accor, Norwegian Accor was in port in Nassau. And so when it was in port, Oasis was there. And Oasis was big. And so that was like the mothership of like all these other. Well, Icon is a different class of ship altogether. But Icon before Icon is the Oasis class ships, right? Icon is its own class of ship. But Oasis was big. That looked huge. So I could kind of imagine like if that was looking so big, how the Icon would be. And so it just would be just so massive. I am going to do a Royal Caribbean. It's not going to be as big as Icon, but I just want to try it out. And I feel like if it's too big, that's the thing. If it's too big for me, then I don't know if I've heard anybody say it's too big. The thing about it is, I would kind of want to be able to two things. Like for example, if it takes me forever to get from one place to the next, I think it's too big, right? If I get out of my room and then I'm like trying to, if, depending on where I'm at on the ship, and I'm trying to go see a theater, takes me 20 to 30 minutes to get there. Navigating through elevators, navigating through traffic and stuff like that. People walking. I think that's like a little bit too big. Then you have to really start off really early. If a lot of the venues are packed out, I'm sure they have it down to a pack by now in terms of the dining rooms and things of that nature. And so I just want to see kind of like, at least one of their big ships to see how it is. I was on Celebration. That was kind of the biggest ship for Carnival that I've been on. and I didn't think it was bad. But when I was in the port, I think it was Saint Martin. I was in the port where Wonder of the Seas was at the time, and one time, that Wonder of the Seas was the biggest ship that they had, and so now that's even warped by all the other things that they have. And when I tell you that Wonder of the Seas make Celebration look like a little kid, it was just so big. So therefore, so I don't know how I feel. Hey, Zach, happy Monday! Thank you for coming through. Have you been on Coker? Have you been on any of the Royal class big ships? Have you been on like Icon, or are you anticipating going on any of those, Zach? Let me know. We're just talking about the difference between the two. So I thought that was a great interview. I'm glad that everybody came on. I'm glad and anybody had input. If you have any questions, just put it in the chat for next week. If I don't know it last week, if I don't know it personally, then I will find out from Michael. And if I know it, I will just kind of just like answer it. And so we could go forward from there. And so therefore, so everybody knows I've been doing this Norwegian Cruises Aqua series. And so Landon, see, I know that you are amped and ready. Also, you love the Aqua. You want to try out for the Aqua if it comes to New York. I think it is coming to New York actually. And so if it comes to New York, you definitely should be able to get on it. So you don't have to fly anywhere, and you could just go right to the port and look on it. And so let's see what's going on in the chat. We just went on Utopia. Oh, did you? Oh, I missed that vlog. You vlogged that? My friend went on Utopia. I was supposed to go on it with them, but I missed it. I just couldn't get on it. It was too expensive. Um, Zach is saying hi to Danny. We're going on Star of the Seas. Wow. That's amazing. That's massive, Zach. That is going to be massive. Isn't it even bigger than Icon? Wow, that's going to be massive. Hey, TJ, thanks for coming through. I have a playlist for that trip. Okay, I have to look at your content for Utopia. Just I want to see what you thought about it. Oh, that's massive. Okay. So what you think? Would you try out the MSC and these World America, or are you kind of stuck on Royal Caribbean? What you think, Zach? Will you just kind of stay with Royal Caribbean, or will you try out one of these bigger new ships? Yes, it's supposed to be huge. The boys wanted to go because of an onboard water park. Okay. All right. Okay, cool. TJ saying hi. Hey TJ, how's everything? You're back from the cruise, right? You're not still on the cruise ship, right? This is another week, so you should have been back. You should have been back maybe Sunday or Saturday. How did you enjoy your cruise? What? TJ is gonna try MSC? Wow. Did the vlog from last week help anything? Did the live show from last week kind of help your decision? Because I'm shocked that you said that. I'm really shocked that you said that you are going to try MSC. I know you love Carnival. Wow. I wasn't the biggest fan of the size, but we're giving it another try for the boys. We're only done Royal and Disney to this point. Oh, okay. Oh, Disney. I want to do a Disney so bad because they said. Now my thing is, Zach, do you feel like Disney's overrated for the price? Some people think that, but other people say they love it. They love the experience. They love the food. So, do you think Disney is kind of just overrated? I when I try Disney, I want to try a short cruise. It is kind of expensive, so that's why I'd want to at least do a short cruise to just try it out and see how it is for myself. I like to try to several others. Okay, so you're going to go on that. You're going to go on the cruise in February 2027, right? You're doing Carnival Celebration. Are you going on Carnival Celebration, TJ? Are you going that cruise with Liz and everybody? It did. RC is too much money for solo cruise. Okay. RC is too much money. What about and Disney, right? Disney, I think I was able to find something decent. Maybe it's gonna be like 1,500, but um at least I would have my own interior room or what have you. But they're expensive, so you just have to find kind of like a deal or like Maybe it's an odd time in the year where the prices are low. Yes or no on Disney? You're paying for the brand and the characters for sure, but you're getting the Disney experience, which is top-notch customer service. Yes, I heard that the customer service is above par. Yeah, it is phenomenal. It is a little higher than it should be. Okay, yeah, so a little higher than it should be for 4 day. Of course, it's Disney, so I'm expecting that the shows is going to be phenomenal. Somebody said that the beds are phenomenal. Somebody said that the food is great. So I would want to try it. They not I don't think this year, but maybe like a short cruise if I can find something for next year, definitely would. TJ, if you're doing MSC, are you going to do the World of America or what? You saw last week's live? Did that influence your decision at all based upon that live? Because I'm curious. I just want to see how many people were impacted by last week's live to try out MSC. I want to try, as I said, I'm going to try to bring other people on just like that, just to talk about the cruise line, from their perspective, what is to expect from the cruise line, so we can kind of be excited and we know is to expect, not somebody who's not a part of the cruise line and may give false information, but somebody directly will be able to tell about the cruise line. I love to try MSC. Try it. The thing about it, Zach, just try it. Maybe one of the newer ships. Even if you don't go new as World America, but Seaside, Seashore, one of the newer, not as new. Meraviglia is in New York, so if you come to New York, you got to let me know. I'll come check you out wherever you are. And so just try it. I think because they're kind of, they always have sales. And as I said, they from last week, they have a matching status program. So and they also do matching, as Michael said, with also hotels. So if you're high up in a hotel brand, then they'll do also matching with that. And so I think that, so that from day one you could have like great perks, like as I said, I have, every time I book a MSC, I'll get like a 5% discount. A lot of cruise ships don't do that. So, and then they have already percentages off, 30%, whatever, and then and now I'm giving 5% more. I mean, 5% with thousands of dollars kind of will make an impact. We currently don't have anything booked for next year. A big factor for us is what's going to be available for the kids. Okay. So out of the cruise lines, you said you've been on Royal and you've been on Disney. I'm assuming that Disney would be the best for kids in terms of like the kids clubs, things that they have for kids. I mean, the older kids gets, I'm sure they're not really going to be into the characters like that, Mickey, Minnie, so they won't be so much into those characters. But do you feel like that has the best thing when it comes to kids? That cruise line, Disney. I'm just curious to say. So I have found this article. So I found this article that is very interesting. So there's a lot of tariffs going on, right? And so a lot of people was like, well, how this, these tariffs are not going to impact me and traveling, right? It's only related to goods. It's only related to food. It's things of that, maybe some things such as electronics, maybe cars, but it's really not going to impact me in regards to traveling. Well, I found an article. I was just coming and I saw this article, and the article says cruise ships passengers must pay fee upon arriving in Mexico starting July 1st. Did anybody hear about this? Because I didn't hear about it. I haven't seen anybody vlog about it. I haven't seen anybody do it. I'm surprised nobody has done a video about it. Maybe I missed something. Because I like to do cruise news. Like to watch his channel on YouTube. But maybe I missed it because he usually really reports a lot of news. And it says, starting July 1st, cruise ship passengers arriving in any Mexican port. So, TJ, I know you love to do Mexico, and I know you love to do the Mexican Riviera, will have to pay a $5 visitor fee. So, obviously, then they're probably not going to charge it to us when we get off the ship. So, what's going to happen? Those fees, those port fees, is going to go up more. Hey, Liz, thank you for coming through. And so July 1st. So if you're going on any cruise ship that has a any cruise ship that has a port in Mexico. So that's Cozumel. Cozumel is very popular. Costa Maya is a very popular port. When you come to the West Coast, we're looking at Mazatlan, Cabo, Puerto Vallarta, right? So when we are looking at these when we are looking at, hey Scott, thank you for coming through. So when we're looking at these ports, know that July 1st, you are going to be charged an extra $5 to go into Mexico by cruise. So these are expensive that we are going to obviously we're going to have to flip the bill. And I'm just wondering if that is $5 per port. And I'm thinking any Mexican port. So I'm thinking if you are going on the Mexican Riviera, for example, Puerto Vallarta, Cabo San Lucas, and Mazatlan, and now Carnival has this other place, La Paz or something of that nature. They added that. And so it says the Mexican government and the Florida Caribbean Cruise Association arrived at a compromise this week to implement the tariffs on visitors. And so 6 months ago, the Mexican government wanted to institute a $42 tariff on each passenger. After complaints from cruise ship operators, the fee was negotiated down. So the fee was even supposed to be more than $5, and it was supposed to be 42 dollars. Over the next 3 years, however, the fee will increase to $21 per passenger. Cruises are getting more expensive. All this talk about tariffs is finally coming to us as cruise passengers. So over the next few years, especially if they do it per port, that cruise that you're going the Mexican Riviera, or if you're hitting more than one port in Mexico, can be up to $21. So that's a lot of port fees, right? So if you're going to those places and you see your port fees go through the roof when you're dealing with Mexican ports, know that is because of these tariffs. $21 per port is it can add up. Yeah, I'm just letting you know that. Starting July 1st, I don't think I have any Mexican ports this year. I have to look at my itineraries, but definitely it's happening. And so let's go back to the chat. Who's up? Who's here? Who's speaking? So Zach said, yes, it's really hard to compare, but now we've got a 13-year-old and a 10-year-old. So now it's all about the games or activities. So this is dealing with, I'm comparing Royal and Disney, which is better for kids. And he says, hard to compare. But now that he has a teenager and a 10-year-old, it's all about the games and activities. And so Landis, he said, wow, yes, $5 and can go up to $21. I'm thinking per port. I guess the time goes on, we'll see it when we go to Mexican ports as cruisers. Thank you for coming through, Scott. How are you, Scott? Hope all is well. Everybody's saying hi to Scott. Thank you, Parkers. Thank you for coming through. Appreciate you. I'm not worried about the port fees. Yeah, you got money, TJ. You got it. I'm telling Liz. I saw, for some reason, when I saw your name, Scott, I don't know why I thought it was like Liz coming through. It must be like the logo is kind of similar in the colors. It's crazy. Snitches get Scott. Hi, Paul. Liz is not here, but I can be here if you'd like. I am good. I'm glad you're here, Scott. I am glad you're here. It's support to cover the wholesaling if there's more than one port stop. We will see. Oh, okay, that's great. So this article wasn't clear. So the $5 will cover the wholesaling. But if there's more than one stop, yeah, I don't know. So if it's more than one stop, if you're going to Cozumel and customize, is that $10? Is that if it's 21, if it goes up to $21, is that going to be $42? And I wonder if they can continue with this. Would they even start trying to skip some ports? There's no way you could get rid of that Mexican Riviera cruise. That Mexican Riviera cruise is so great. But then we know that it would have to be more expensive as they go towards $21, especially if they're going to do a port. So everybody's saying hi. Hey, Paul. Here with my hubby. And my hey Liz, yeah, Liz is here. Bro, my consistent law Shannon. Hey, thank you for coming through. Speaking of devil. Y'all logos are so familiar. When Scott came on, I thought it was you. I was like, okay, it's Scott. I need to reading is fundamental, right? I need to read um who is from. Yeah, she is here for real. I spoke her up. Ain't that something? Everybody's saying hi. That's good. Let's see if he's called Scott. Liz Scott. Y'all causing trouble. What if he says just Chris? Hey Liz, Chris, and here, bro, Paul, Mike, and her sis-in-law. Everybody's saying hi to each other. Controversial cruise, casino cruise addicts. Yes. I know, Scott. I know you just messing with me. Change y'all logos. Y'all logos are too similar. You got the circle, it's almost similar colors. Somebody got to change their logo. You got something to say, Scott? Don't fight in here now. Don't fight in here. And so yeah, so that's what I read. I thought that was interesting. I would love to go back to the Mexican Riviera. In fact, I am doing one next year, but I guess I will see. Um with this, I wonder if they already adjusted the prices because I already booked it for next year, or are they gonna? I'll see if they send me something saying that the prices has to be adjusted. I will see, you know, or will they just kind of flip the bill if somebody already booked? So usually, what they would do, if there are some price increases, is that if you book something a lot of times, but we'll see if you book already, you locked in your cruise. If you booked already, then they won't charge you anything extra. But if you book after the date when there will be changes, then there will be additional costs associated with your cruise. And so that's the reason why so many people will, for example, if there is a like a Wi-Fi increase, so many people will run to be able to change it. Oh my God, let me get this in before there's a Wi-Fi increase or something of that nature. And so Parkinson, Paul, did you go do the aqua? It seems to be getting a lot of mixed reviews with had it booked but canceled. I did do the aqua, and so I have a lot of content of the aqua. I just released a video. I did a ship tour. I did a ship tour, room tour, embarkation day video. I did a sea day video. I did also like a review of the ship. So that's the thing. Before booking Aqua, I wish you didn't cancel. Maybe just see that video and you could ask me questions. So I released on Friday before booking Aqua. Watch this. So I usually do like a wrap up, a review video. And if you have any questions, even this, because I know in this I was going to say NCL Cruises, and so if you have any questions about NCL Cruises, talk to me. For the most part, I did have some ejections, but nothing to the point where I think that I regretted going on this ship. And in fact, I was thinking about doing Luna next year just to kind of see like because I spoke to the cruise director and I said that on the video that it made it seem like they're gonna do a little few more subtle changes, just in terms of space for spacing wise. And so nothing where I regretted going on the cruise. It was nothing of that nature. Just little things I think they could improve on in general. And so what was the reviews? Because I've been on the other Prima class ships and they were smaller. And so I see where they are, it's a bigger ship. I see where there's some places that has more venue space, but they need more. And so, but these are kind of like boutique type ships. And so they're not huge ships. And so I don't know if I have to see the specs if Luna is going to be even a little bit more bigger, or are they going to kind of keep it more to the similar size of what Aqua is. And so ask me any questions you want about Aqua. So I thought I enjoyed myself. Team Reese was on there as well, and we're supposed to be doing a live. I'm not sure if that's still happening. We're still supposed to be doing a live, I think, this coming Sunday about it, so we could kind of talk about our feelings regarding it. And so I've been on Prima, I've been on Viva. I did so now. This is the Prima Plus class, and is it perfect? No, but I don't think that I for none of them I would have said that. I've sent clients also on Prima, and they enjoyed themselves. Right? They enjoyed themselves. Um, so like, I think you should try it for yourself, And that was a 5 day cruise. So maybe even if it's like a short, if you can find another 5 day and just try it for yourself to see how you think, what you think about it. Scott is always causing trouble, always causing trouble. Oh, this is your peace offering, Scott. Thank you so much for the super chat. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. That's the peace offering, I think, Scott, huh? Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Liz. Thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate you so much. Oh God, controversial. Scott, you got to show me how to do those things so I could upload those videos. You got to show if we got to do a StreamYard together or something. Show me how you do those videos so that I could kind of celebrate when people do super chats and things of that nature. Okay, now he's definitely gonna get confused. Copycat Liz. I got it. I'm reading the names now, so I'm not gonna get confused this time. We booked the inaugural. Oh, you booked the inaugural. You could have been on. Well, the inaugural. That's the one we canceled. We've done NCL a few times, but couldn't get our footing. So inaugural meaning the one that was coming from Europe, or the first one in Miami, like the one I was on. So, because that's the really first one. Like there was one that came from Europe and was supposed to go to New York. No, it was supposed to go to Boston, but because of the weather, the port was closed in Boston, so they ended up going to New York. Then it repositioned to Miami with nobody on board, and then I got on the one in Miami, and that's when I met Team Reese and different other content creators as well. So let me know. Scott and Liz are killing me and laughing my booty off here. Liz or Danny, they causing trouble, ain't they? Landon C. From what you showed about Aqua Surfside is a little darker than Prima. Okay, so the thing about it is with Surfside Cafe, the thing. Well, when I vlogged it though, it was kind of like really early in the morning, and so maybe it's darker because of the lighting. Because I literally get up, people like I literally get up like 5 o'clock to do because I don't want to do it with a lot of people in the way. I kind of want you to see it as is without a lot of people, and then some people may not want to necessarily be videotaped, and so I get up like 5 o'clock in the morning, start walking the ship because I know everybody's sleep for the most part, and then when you start seeing people, it's going into the time of like breakfast. So when I did Surf Cafe, the sun was coming up, but it was kind of it wasn't, I have a camera that's I think is good in dark light, but it's still not bright. So maybe it's not as dark as it seems, but just because of the fact that I was recording, I would do Primo again. See, I would do Primo again. And I think I would do it again too. Like all of them I've stayed in a solo cabin room. I didn't have any issues with it. I kind of like the solo cabin rooms because I don't know, it's kind of quiet in there. Like in the hallways, I guess it's a mature crowd. I don't hear any kids running up and down. I don't hear like loud talking of people going to the cabins. And I never really mentioned that as a plus for it, but now thinking about it, because it has its own corridor and like we're kind of like away from the main aisle of where the other rooms are, and so it's really quiet. I don't have really no noise. Like people don't make a lot of noise. If you're gonna hear noise is people are gonna go in the lounge, and it's not really loud. They're just talking when you go into the lounge itself. So I don't have an issue. If I decide to do Luna, I'm probably gonna do the solo cabin again. And the first inaugural is a 7 day cruise, and the 7 day cruise is going to Roatan, Belize. And I did that cruise already, but I kind of want to do it again. Like I really enjoyed those ports, and so I would want to do it again. And I think I did not vlog the experience. I think that was a part of my channel when at that time I was just kind of like recording, but I didn't kind of like vlog the experience. So yeah, Scott is funny. The one you were on not the transit. Oh, she could have came on. We could have met each other. That would have been so fun. Parker's on the go. Team Reese travel. Like it would have been so fun. Um, I enjoyed it. I think Team Reese enjoyed it too. I think yeah, you could have came. I enjoyed myself. I didn't regret going on it. I'm glad I went on it. I vlogged it, and I still have more videos, but nothing really centered solely on the experience. I do have like Nassau. So if you haven't seen any of the aqua videos that are out there now is more or less about the experience on the ship, embarkation day, as I said, and so the ship tour allows you to see the whole ship. I literally walked through the whole ship except for the kids areas and the medical center. Nobody could have access to that anyway, and so you get to see how the ship looks. And I think I it was a lot of information, and the things I have coming up is Nassau, what I did in Nassau. Maybe something else, probably some members only videos. I still haven't done it yet. I still have not produced it or put it out there yet. So um, yeah, check out those videos. I think and let me know if it impacts you either way. If you feel like, oh, okay, maybe I will try it, um try, because what are people saying though? That's why I want to know, like, what are the negative things people are saying, and then I could probably like refute it or not refute it. That's the thing. I want to know, like, what are they saying to discourage you. Hey Paul, hey Yolo, thank you for coming through. Happy Monday. I hope everybody's I know people came on late. I hope if you're a mother, happy belated Mother's Day. I hope you had a great Mother's Day. If you're a mother-in-law, um was it godmother, whatever it is, I just hope you had a great Mother's Day and you enjoyed yourself and somebody spoiled you and you had a good time. People are saying hi. People are saying hi. We thought about Luna. We keep going back and forth about it. Yeah, I'm thinking about Luna. I was looking at it actually yesterday, so I'm kind of torn. I just have to see, which I didn't get a chance to see. I just have to see, like, if I can do it based upon some of the plans I already have next year. I mean, I think the only reason I would do Luna is because I seem like I'm on this trend of doing the newer Norwegian ships. So I kind of want to keep on going at the pace. I did the Prima. I didn't do Prima or Viva. I didn't do Prima or Viva when it came out. I just did it and I got to experience it. Prima I did a Thanksgiving Day cruise, Thanksgiving week cruise. Went to Bermuda on Prima. Viva I did out of Puerto Rico, and then I did those ports. Great, love cruising out of Puerto Rico. I'm telling you, if you ever wanted to see a lot of places, in fact, I was just talking to a coworker. I got a coworker convinced that this is the way to go. She was talking to somebody else because I told her that if you're not a person about a lot of sea days, if you're not a lot doing a lot of sea days, you don't want to be on the sea too often, cruise out of Puerto Rico. You get to see every day is another port because it's so close to some of those islands. Every day is another port. You want to see the world and you want to see more places that you've never seen before. Cruise out of Puerto Rico. I'm telling you. And so there's some ships that it may not be there all the time, year round, but catch a cruise out of Puerto Rico and see some places you've never been before. You're not going to be able to do a lot of those places just on a 5-day cruise or 7-day cruise out of Miami or Port Canaveral. So, try it, and so they're really considering about doing it. And they were like, I'm thinking about the price of like the flight. And so, the flights fluctuate. You just have to kind of do anything. Like, I love Google Flights. Does anybody use Google Flights? Google Flights is my friend. Even if when it comes to booking flights, I will just put in the parameters, what I want, where I want to go, with the time of the day, what airlines I do want to do and do not want to do, and then it will just email me when the price drops, and when the price is right, boom, I'll just go on the website and of whatever cruise line or whatever plane airline that is, and then do that. And so I think that's the way to go. Hey, people are saying hi to each other. Paul, I have a question. Would you sell Legend again? Okay, so Carnival Legend. So when it comes to Carnival Legend, so Spirit Class is not necessarily my favorite ship. It is not necessarily my favorite ship. And I think when I had got on it, they had refurbished it, so they did some changes to it. I think it's just the configuration of where some things are, but for the right itinerary, I would do it. That itinerary was like, it was such a great itinerary. Leaving out of Dover, England, leaving out of Dover, it was such a great itinerary. And even though it was an older ship, I was like, yes, I want to do it. And so that's the thing about some of those smaller ships. You know, you won't have a lot of times these massive ships going to certain places, and so therefore I would sail Legend again. One of the biggest benefits that I loved about Legend, and my friends loved it, is that when we're doing these long days, long excursions, going to these places, Scotland and Belfast and all these places, and these excursions are not like our excursions. They're taking you far from the port and you're exploring the land and taking you to different towns. And so therefore, one of the things that we liked is when we came back to the ship, it didn't take us long to get to the dining room. It didn't take us long to go to see the play because it wasn't a massive ship. I liked that ship also is because it had a dome, and so it had a dome. So regardless if it was raining, regardless if it was like was cold or what have you, it had that dome right over the area. And I didn't do a ship tour. I'm telling you, I wish I did a ship tour. I was just so tired that I attempted to do it. And if I wish Liz showed me something about like just being able to record without talking, because I always would do tours where I'm talking, because I would have just did it and just added music after the fact. And so therefore it had the dome right over the area where there would be the parties, and also over the pool. And so you could step out of the dome, and other parts on the area would be like, would be privy to the water or rain or whatever. So that was great as well. And so even though it may have inclement weather, you can be able to still have a good time. We were dancing, we were celebrating July 4th, and even if it was raining somewhere else or raining outside, we were under the dome and we were still able to have a good time. So I would do the Legend again. It would not be my first choice, for example, if it was just like a Caribbean cruise. But if it was a cruise and I really want to go to those places, I would do it. For example, I was looking at a cruise for Freedom. Freedom is not my favorite ship. I just don't like how it looks. That UPS looking brown that they have in Freedom is not my favorite ship. And if you saw Sukhothai, that review of the Thai restaurant, Freedom was actually in the window. I don't know, see how much you could see it. Freedom was in port with us, and so not my favorite ship, but I saw a great itinerary for next year. Is being refurbished, and for example, I was said even though that's not my favorite ship, because of the itinerary, it was going to is leaving from Barcelona, going back to Barcelona, is going to like Rome, Naples. It was a great itinerary, and so I was thinking about doing that, but I'm torn between that and another ship of doing something, and so therefore, like, yeah, so it's really based upon the itinerary. Not my favorite ship, but if the itinerary is right, I definitely would do Legend again. Definitely would do it again. Hey, people saying hi. Hey, Big Murph, thank you for coming through. I appreciate you. Thank you for coming on the go. Oh, you're welcome, YOLO. Big Murphy. We love the Legend on the go with YOLO. Yeah, you love. Yeah, you love Spirit class ships, though, Liz. I think you love Spirit class ships. Not my favorite type of ship, but where did you take the Legend to? Was that where did you take the Legend? Not my favorite, but I would definitely do it. It was great. Spoiled every day. Carnival. I know how y'all feel taking votes. Hey Shay, thank you for coming through. Happy Monday. Your mother, happy Mother's Day, belated Mother's Day. Cramped spaces, underwhelming activities, being nickel and dime for experiences. So let's deal with that. Cramped spaces. Cramped spaces. Yes, when it comes to this is okay. So this is how you have to. This is what you have to do when it comes to cramped spaces. You just have to pivot, right? Um, I said I think in the review, one of the things I said was if you're on the Lido deck, say for example, you're on the Lido deck, maybe like, if you want to get away, there's like the eighth floor wraps around the whole ship, right? So many chairs. There's infinity pools over there. Hot tubs is over there. So when it comes to the food, I didn't do the dining room too much. The optimal time for the dining room, not the dining room, the optimal time for the buffet would be the times that people love to go to lunch. So, as soon as it opens, boom, there's going to be so many crowds. If you go to if you're all right with eating a little later, because I've gone to the buffet, I've gone to the buffet a little later, and when I tell you that it was empty, and so therefore, like, so the times where people are, if you go to breakfast, for example, really early, like when I was recording, breakfast is open up really early, like 6 o'clock or something of that nature. So if you want to, so you have to go to extreme hours if you don't get cramped spaces. In Dulce Food Hall, for example, is very popular. It was on Prima Class. A lot of people were in there. It can be hard to find seating in there, but they're open for long hours. So once again, the optimal times when people really want to start doing lunch and things of that nature is the times that you will be cramped. But can you find spaces? So what I did, if I didn't want to deal with the buffet, I went to Hudson's. Hudson's is the sit down restaurant, and I enjoyed the food at Hudson's. And it's rare that I go to a sit down restaurant, any main dining room restaurant, but because I did not want to deal with cramped spaces, and because I didn't want to have to deal with trying to jostle between stations at the buffet, I just went to Hudson's and I just enjoyed myself. I went there for dinner. I went there for lunch. I'm not a breakfast person, but they were open, and so I was able to sit down. That restaurant had beautiful views, and so I was able to open, and was all white, and all this light, natural light was coming in, and so I was able to just pivot and say, like, listen, I don't want to go there. I need to eat, and I'm just gonna do there. When it comes to activities, now the activities on the ship was um, yeah, so the virtual ones, yes, you pay for, but the new space, the new Aqua roller coaster slider, that's free, right? There's all these things you can do up on the sports area which are free. The only thing you have to pay for was tea time. You just had to reserve the other things. They had glow ball, they had like pool hockey. There was a place where like a darts bar where you could play darts right there. That was free. And so only $5 for the tea time. Everything else over that area was free of charge. The drop slide, all of that stuff was no additional cost. The virtual reality stuff, yes, there's a cost for that. When it came to the shows, the shows is no cost. So there's no cost for the shows, the entertainment. There's a lot of great entertainment. Singers was on there. On my specific, unfortunately, my specific sailing, Prince wasn't on there. So whoever goes on there, I would love to see like what they thought about the Prince show. And so they had Elements, a show called Elements, Prince show, they show called Rumors, dealing with Fleetwood Mac. They had comedians on there. And so cramped spaces for some of the spaces, yes, and that's what they need to work on. But that's why I said like sometimes you have to get there really early. But there's sometimes I went to a comedy show, and I guess maybe depending on what else is going on the ship at the same time, I went to a comedy show and it was not packed. And so it really depends, I guess, what's going on the ship at different times and what's happening, where it may be packed and where it may not be packed. So I thought I had a great time. Sea days, I was able to relax, and if I wanted to engage in some fun, I also was able to engage in some fun, like I did Glow Court, with I did Glow Court with Team Reach Travel. Had a blast. It was fun. I know people that did this slider, and they had a blast. You just go on the line and just go. They have lockers there if you need to put your stuff in the lockers as well, and you do the drop. So there's a lot of stuff that I don't think that was nickel and dime to me. So I'm not sure what experiences that they felt like they had to have to pay for. Yeah, so there was probably some changes probably with the liquor package, unless they're talking about in terms of Norwegian in general, in terms of like, okay, you get the more at sea, but then you're paying for this gratuities, you're paying for that. If you want Starbucks, you have to pay additional. If you want water, you have to pay additional now. And these are things that when they had the old package, you didn't have that. And so maybe they're talking about those kind of a things, those items. So yeah, so I'll say like I think I think I had a good time. Like I didn't I think I know, you know what is, I think I know what to expect from Norwegian now. So even the little few changes that they had with regards to say the water or Starbucks not being involved or being included anymore in the drinks package, I was like, I shifted because a lot of people don't have it anyway. In some of their drink packages, like I think Royal, for example, Starbucks is always additional, and people on these cruise ships are just seeming to just follow right after each other. So I say try it. I think try it if you could find a like a 5 day, just to see how you think of what you think about it. Just just try it for yourself and see what you think. Hey, Liz is saying hi. I wish, but those PR flights out of New York are kind of crazy. Yes. So I think the last time I did went to PR, and so the thing about it is, it wasn't always crazy. Used to be able to get like decent flights out of New York, pre-pandemic. Post-pandemic, the flights did go up. So that's why I try to do as much as possible Google flights. I mean, I treat Puerto Rico like an international flight. More or less, I start looking, and usually international flights I do like start looking 3 months out. So maybe do the same thing for Puerto Rico. Start looking like 3 months out, even though they're part of the United States. Start looking 3 months out to see if you could find a good deal, and then it may be the point where you may not have to just like stick to it one airline if you can. I know we have these baggage fees and things of that nature, but if you can, just 3 months or more out, and if there's a deal, just book it. If you have points, just book it. I think when you get there, though, right? If you stay a day before in Puerto Rico, the prices are reasonable. If you're from New York, you know how these prices can be with these restaurants, and so the prices are reasonable when it comes to food, especially where you're staying. I've stayed in Old San Juan. I was just talking to somebody today. I stayed in Old San Juan. When I tell you, you can get breakfast $10 and be full and be a great breakfast. And the dinners and things of that nature are not really expensive either. And I stayed the last time in Condado. Beautiful. The beach was there. The restaurants weren't too expensive. And so I think the experience there, I took a cab from the airport, which I thought was going to be very expensive. I took like an Uber, and the Uber was not expensive. And so therefore, even though, yeah, is the getting there part is maybe the issue, maybe just a little bit of research work to see if you can get the best flight. You may have to do one airline going, one airline coming back, something of that nature, just to be able to see that if you can get the best flight. Parkers, we did a 3 day on the Sky from DR. It was interesting. The Sky, Sky, the Sky. Who's the Sky by? A 3 day? Is that an NCL Sky? Because that's an older ship. 3 day from DR. You did a 3 day from Dominican Republic, or you meant to say PR? Um, on the go. Is this about NCL or transatlantic? Parker, is this 11 people and 4 likes? Hit the like button. Yes, hit the like button. NCL. Okay, NCL. Okay. Google Flights is my jam. Exactly. I'm a trigger shy on either. I love Google Flights. I'm still getting updates on a flight I have already booked. Okay. So are you getting updates because you're gonna change it, or you just have it? Because once you've booked, unless you want to kind of like, because you can call. I don't know if every airlines does that. You can call, and if the price really drops, you can see if they can kind of like adjust your price point. See how flexible your airlines are. So if it really dropped a lot, if when I book with points, it's kind of like hard to know, because I booked with points, so I don't really remember. But if I booked with money, I would be able to determine and see like, okay, I booked with this, and now the price is even less. Yeah, let me see if I can get an adjustment. And they probably won't give you they like for example, JetBlue may give it you back into the bank. It's not like they're giving you money back into your card, but they may give you like a credit, and they put money into your bank, something of that nature. Okay, so we gotten to the part. We doing it already. Liz is a beyond me. So we always have this segment coming to the close, and while I'm going through, is there any other questions you could ask me? We always have this segment on this channel, and it's saying in case we missed it. And so if you have a video, if you put out a video in this last week, and just in case maybe we missed it, we didn't get a chance to see it, lives got busy, it was Mother's Day, people were celebrating, what have you, and we didn't miss when we saw your video and we didn't get to see your video. I already said what my last video was. I did a members only video today, so if you're a member, you get to see that. I released that today, the hour before the live. And last week Friday I put out before booking Norwegian, sorry, before booking Norwegian, oh my god, I just Aqua. Look at this, watch this. So before booking Norwegian Aqua, watch this. So that was my video that I put out on Friday. That was my last video. So let us know what was your video, and so that we can go and check out your video also and support your channel as well, and subscribe to your channel if we have not subscribed as of yet. Okay, YOLO. Okay, so that's what I needed. I have an opportunity to cruise Legend out of Dover for less than 1,012 nights. I'm telling you, the not only was it a dream cruise for me, but the price was reasonable. Not less than 1,000, but I think it was less than 2,000. And I stayed in an interior room, and it was like a great bargain for that. What for me, what cost more was obviously getting over there, the flight to get over there, the excursions, the price for the excursions, because we wanted to do excursions. We were not just gonna. The only place that cruise went to Liverpool, and so there were so many things that I you could see just based by looking. There was free museums, for example. There was a Beatles museum, which I vlogged on my channel, where it was like $22. So I paid for that directly. So that I didn't do an excursion, but we walked around and we did our own thing. And so that's what it is. So older ship, right? Older ship, you may have it may be more economical as well. So Legend is smaller. So if you don't want to have to feel like you going like walking 10,000 steps every day because you're just trying to get to the dining room, that's a benefit. But if you have that, and depending on how many places is going, I say do it. Why not? Just try it for yourself. And the one thing I liked about it also, sailing out of UK, they had shows I've never seen. Not like love. They did have like Love and Marriage, but they also had like game shows I never saw before. They also had like production shows I never saw before, and so it's kind of a different experience sailing from Dover, England. I think they had something like the Brits, so they had shows I've never seen before, and so like it's a different experience in terms of that as well. And so if you, as I said, it's based upon the itinerary. If you find an itinerary and then you like it and the price is right, why not? I did it. And so that's what I said. I would do it again. I would do it again if the price is right, if the itinerary is what I want to do. And then, as I said, you're not gonna have a lot of these massive ships do some of these excursions. These massive ships, especially, they have to have a certain type of port. They have to have all these different things in place to be able to sail from certain places. And so, if you book it, let me know. I would love to see your vlogs on it too. Here goes Parker's on the go last video. I've watched all your Legend vlogs. I think that's how I found you last year. Oh, okay, great, YOLO. All right, great. Yeah. Um, is as I said, I was honest in it in terms of what I did not like, but at the same time, I think somebody act like I crucify. I didn't crucify it. I'm always honest in terms of what I do like and what I don't like about something. But I think that every ship may have its pluses, has its minuses, and but at least I would, and I think I said in that video, the before booking Carnival Legend, watch this. I think I did say if the itinerary is right, I would sail it again. And that was the one of the final points I said near the end. The itinerary is right. I would sail on Carnival Legend again. I definitely would. Carnival Cruise Lines, thank you so much. And so we're seeing anybody else. Landon C's last video. That's right. I love cruising out of UK. A wonderful experience. I loved it too. I did love it. And then I got to see. Then I stayed 1 day before, and 3 days after, because that was the first time I was ever in London, and so I definitely enjoyed it. Chris and Liz channel, yes, Carnival Cruise Addicts, and we are supporting each other, and we are posting each everybody's last video. Not UPS Brown, UPS Brown. Have you ever been on Carnival Freedom? Let me know in the chat. Have you ever been on Carnival Freedom? One of my sisters says the same thing. She does not like Freedom. And I sailed on it. I think it was one of those. I think I sailed on it for one of those for fun's sake cruises with John Heald. I think that's when I was on it, and that was the only time I was on it, and it was just like, yeah. I mean, it did what it had to do, but it was just like the design of the ship. It did nothing else really, but it was just like I don't know. I just think I didn't care for the look of it. Here's the videos. Big Murph, yes. On the thank you YOLO so much. Scott is probably long gone. He has to show me how to do those. Thank you so much for supporting that your way that you do. Thank you so much YOLO. I appreciate that. I really do. I appreciate you YOLO. Hey Big Murph. I'm Danny saying hi to Murph. So, question: since you fly on a lot of different airlines, how is Spirit in your opinion? I've never flown Spirit, and so I've the airlines I really fly on is Delta, JetBlue, because I've never heard a lot of bad things about. I never heard a lot of good things about Spirit. I think as Parkers was saying about, they heard about Norwegian nickel and diming you. I've heard bad things about Spirit in terms of like even your bag. So you would bring your bag, and it was over an hour, but you would bring your bag, and then all of a sudden they would try to act like it was too big, and then like yeah, and so, these things, and so like trying to purposely charge you for a carry-on when it fits into the containers, just little stuff like that, just never went over well with me. And so, but I did see some news article or saying like Spirit is really supposed to be one of the best now out there, and so which was shocking to everybody, I'm sure. So, but I've done JetBlue, I've done American years ago. I'm going. I've done Southwest because I did Southwest to go to Texas, so I had to go to LaGuardia Airport to do that. And so I've never done so Southwest. If you're dealing with more economical airlines, is probably the most economical in terms of low cost carriers that I've been to. Never done like a Spirit. Hey Liam, thank you for coming through. Zach's last, I think Zach just put out a video today too. I think I saw it come up. Everybody saying hi. All right. I'm trying to get through the comments. I don't want to leave any questions out there. Danny, please help her to get to 1K. How far are you from 1K, Danny? Help Danny get 1K. I know when I first got to my 1K, it was exciting. Thanks, Bart. Appreciate the background. Oh, you're welcome. I think I probably gave a little bit more information in the video. So you could and I showed videos, B-rolls and all that stuff and pictures. And so if you get a chance, just look over that. Maybe that will even give you more clarity. But yeah, I would never recommend something but that I did not like, and I didn't have. If it was horrible, I would be like, nah, never. I would never go on it again. But I couldn't say that. Like I enjoyed myself, and I don't know. I think some cruisers just don't know how to pivot. They just like I want to go to the buffet. I want to do this, and yeah. I think as a cruiser, like how to like, okay, where else? I look on that thing and say, where else are they serving breakfast? Where else are they doing this? What else? What else is there to do? And there's so much. And there's bingo. There's trivia. There's so much to do on a cruise day, that on a cruise ship that I think you should be able to have a good time. Yola, I would like to see the Prince show too. I want to try NCL, but I have too many other lines ahead of it. Okay, yeah. So I only usually do NCL once a year, and so I think once a year. So I'ma see if I do Luna. So I'm still up in the air about that. Everybody's saying hi. Everybody's saying hi to each other. All the flights are disrespectful. All the flights are YOLO. Um, all the flights are disrespectful. Okay, go to run. Have a great night, everybody. Okay, Liz, thank you so much. Yes, all international flights, 3 to 4 months is the sweet spot. Yes, 3 to 4 months for international flights. You may have to do the same thing as said for Puerto Rico, because with their price point now, I feel like you should treat them like international flights, right? They're not mainland. We consider them kind of domestic, even though they're not, attached to the United States. Take care, Chris. Living me is closer to Puerto Rico. Ah, yeah, of course. I know the flights from Florida to Puerto Rico is probably nothing compared to coming from New York. Of course, I'm sure gas is incorporated in that. Whatever. If it goes down, you can always get a flight refund. Yes, exactly. So if it goes down, if you see something and you like, okay, this is doable, and sometimes people are afraid that the flight will go up again. So if it's like, okay, this is decent enough, just do that and just go forward from there. Okay, yes, NCL Sky. It's an older ship. We embarked in La Ramona, DR, and disembark. Oh, a 3 day. Wow. See, Norwegian does have 3 days, but they don't have a lot. But to have a 3 day from I've never been to La Ramona. Like I know it's not like probably this place to go to, but because I've been to Punta Cana, I've been to Puerto Plata. I just want to go. But I would even do like a resort. So because a lot of cruises used to go there. I never know about this 3 day cruise. A lot of cruises used to go there, especially if they're going towards Aruba and Curacao. But I don't really see a lot of especially Carnival. I don't see a lot of them going there anymore. So I'm not sure why they decided to change. Yes, I like to get the updates to see if my flight price drop. Most of the time it's through Delta, so I always get it back, either credit or refund. Okay, is Delta good with credits and refunds? Because I thought they're kind of like tight with giving you refunds. And so well, the thing is this now. I used to always do JetBlue because JetBlue used to always be the cheaper option. JetBlue is not always a cheaper option now. There used to be a time where they didn't charge for bags. There used to be a time where they didn't charge for seats, right? So now they're charging you if you want to get a seat and you're not high up in their status. They're all of a sudden charging you for a seat now, unless you're 24 hours before departure. And so now I'm finding that Delta can be cheaper than JetBlue, and so that's why I had to pivot. I just can't stay with JetBlue. And the Points guy said, "You ever watch the Points guy? They're really good at talk about credit card points and how to use your points to be able to get the max out of your points, like through credit cards or what have you." And one of the things they said was that they've really been struggling, and that's the reason why they did that partnership with American Airlines. They're trying to do a partnership also with United. I have a cruise coming up in July, and I tried to look for a flight for JetBlue from New York to Miami, and what happened? I could not find any direct flights. So that probably means they're trying to do something where they're partnering up. I don't know if they're coming close to partner up with United, because the last time I saw something like that is when they partnered up with American, and then it seemed like it was the flights for JetBlue itself was very little compared to, when you added American, it seemed like a lot, but then when you looked at JetBlue itself, and for direct flights, it was very little. And so I don't know, JetBlue is doing a lot. Maybe as they said that they're really suffering because they never really got back their money from the pandemic, and so we have to pay for it. Freedom burn. You like the freedom, Liam? Uh, yes, in 2021, after the resort from COVID, restart from definitely an older ship. Okay. Hey, Michelle, that's hey, Michelle. Hey, Michelle, I don't think I saw you before. Thanks for coming through. I, a Delta, United, and Southwest guy, never did United. And so to do United from where I'm at, I would have to go all the way to Newark. And there's been some stuff happening with Newark and canceled flights. I'm not sure. I think it was the traffic controllers quit. It was a mess over there. And so United is kind of too far for me to go. Delta, yes. Southwest, I would have to go to another airport, but it's doable. But um I mean, I would have to, and a lot of times when I look for Southwest to go somewhere, it's always connecting. I do not like connecting. So I would have to go further to a further airport, and then all of a sudden, then I'll have to connect. So I'm like, so it's really never really an option. So it's Delta, JetBlue, and I may have to. Does anybody fly American? Because I'm always fearful with American that the seats would be just too tight. Liam is saying hi. Um, away. So true. JetBlue's a little different now. Definitely a little different. I like Comfort Plus on Delta, so I don't have to book first class, right? Okay, so Liam, I can't remember. If you book Comfort Plus, right, you don't have to charge. They don't. Delta doesn't charge you extra for your seat, right? Once you book that Comfort Plus option, that's it, right? That is your price. I haven't booked Delta in a little bit, but I remember like you don't. So that's the thing. Like JetBlue, you think it's cheaper, but then when you go on there and you book the extra leg room, and then now to get the seats you want, and I'm the type of person I do not want the middle, and so I would rather pay, and so now you're paying extra for it, for that to go to come back, and so it's just a lot. Yes, that's the price. Exactly. So these are the things that you have to weigh out. Now that airlines, right? I know we was talking about cruising, now we deal with airlines. Now that airlines is charging for these seats, even for domestic flights, which is crazy to me. For domestic flights, they're charging you for these seats. So extra leg room. So it's not more or less okay. You book the seat, but if now you're already paying for it, but now the option to get your specific seat, JetBlue is charging you. So if you add up those costs, especially like somebody like me, if I'm doing extra leg room, even some people like, oh, I'm fine with economy. But if you add up those costs, then it's like then if you look at Delta, as you said, and just do like a Delta Comfort, I might as well just do Delta Comfort. It's probably the top at the end of the day, it probably comes out cheaper than having to do all that other stuff. Okay, we fly American. It's okay, but I like United better cause there's TVs. I'll be flying American on the way to Chicago, and on the way back, United is a direct flight. How are the seats though? Are the seats tight for you, or are the seats like a great size? Because that's the one thing I don't want to. Even if it's a 3 hour flight, a 2 hour flight, I don't want to be uncomfortable. Like feeling like squashed. Are they comfortable seats? Because then I would just try. I would just try them. Um, I get got round trip on Delta Comfort last year from Orlando to Seattle for 600. Okay, round trips 300, but yeah, okay. Is that yeah, I guess that's a good price, right? I can't remember. I did go to Seattle for an Alaskan cruise and I did JetBlue, but I just can't remember how much I paid. I don't think it was 600, but I'm trying to think. I did it could have been, and it was a while now, so I'm not even sure. Can't remember. They're okay. I'm small enough, and it's okay. Okay, so you're small enough, and it's okay for American Airlines. I would be open because I just can't. The thing about it is, I don't have a card with American, so therefore, I would have to pay. Does everybody who's flying with United and whatever your preference? Do you have a credit card, or do you have like a travel card that kind of covers like all of that stuff? Do you have a credit card for each so that you could get the free bags, or do you have, or do you just rather just pay it, and or are you a person that kind of will just only do like a carry on anyway? Are all these things is happening with these carry ons? You see that like people will go on and then they're begging people, please check your bag, it will be free of charge. And in my mind is like, just make it free in the first place. You people are not don't want to check bags, especially if they don't have a credit card, because of the fact that they don't want to pay those extras, especially as a family, right? And so as a family of 4, 30, 30, 30, like it just builds up. And so then you get to the gate, then you realize all these people have these carry-ons, and then you're saying, okay, can you please check your bag? We don't have enough overhead bin space. And at that moment, people are like, well, do I really want to check my bag? I want to be able to now, especially if I don't have anything checked. I could just get off the plane and go where I need to go to. I don't have to wait. And so it's just, so many times I hear them begging about it. They'll do it for free. It's like, yeah, so other people have to pay in advance, and now it's kind of like a big deal. Now they get it for free, right? I almost feel like, okay, discount everybody, like everybody for free, like give them back the money. It's like, okay, I have to check my bag and I have to pay. Give everybody back the money because obviously it ain't working. Like everybody, okay, but it's small. Yeah, we use our hotel and airport. JetBlue doesn't fly direct to Chicago. Okay, from our home airport, so we would rather fly direct so nothing gets lost. Exactly. I think one time I flew one time I think I went somewhere, it's Greensboro or somewhere down south, and I flew it was a connecting and it went all right, but it is not my it's not my number one choice. If I can get a direct flight, definitely all day I am going direct. Family. We this is more than an hour. Let me see. Liam says, I don't know why they don't just put the cost of the bags in the price of the ticket. That would be smart too. Just put it in the price of the ticket. And so therefore it just seems like, it's go back to, just average. If somebody at least does one bag, that's a smart choice. So people can just bring the bag and it's like, okay, yeah, we're dropping the charges, but you're really adding it in, but you're telling people you drop the charges. Then I wouldn't be surprised more people tries to fly that way, even though on their end they're really adding it into the cost. But on as the consumer, you're thinking, wow, I'm getting a deal. They're not charging for bags, right? So that's a great idea. You need to. Yeah, especially for Big Bro's wedding this month, we're going to need our dresses and suits for my little brother and dad suits. Yeah. So if you have the card, and I think then they'll give you like a free bag. Sometimes if you go international on these flights, depending on the seat that you're in, they'll give you two bags. So like if you're first class, I think if you're I can't remember. I think it used to be like automatic at one time. I remember Delta years ago. I don't know about two bags, but at least if it was even like if you say you go into international, they would give you a bag or two or extra bag, at no additional cost. And this things just changed, and it became like really about nickel and diming. I think we have a free check bag. Good. And so yeah, I try to have. I'm glad to be able to have free check bags at time because especially if you're going somewhere for a duration of time, I think right. I say this to my sisters all the time. It's easy for you, especially now that I'm content creating. The thing is that I'm carrying one small luggage specifically just for camera equipment, right? So one small bag, camera equipment. I'm not checking that. I don't want anybody throwing it and then my camera breaking or something crazy, right? And so I have one bag for that, and so automatically I'm going to need to at least check another bag. But if, for example, I'm going somewhere, I'm not vlogging, I'm just gonna like visit a family member or what have you, and I'm not gonna do that. It's unless it's a short duration of trip, it's kind of hard to do because I feel like men clothing just take up more space, right? My sister would be like, oh yeah, this sundress, yeah, they're very soft, they can fold, they're very soft. I got jeans, I got shirts, all this different stuff that just takes up more space in luggage. So I end up just 9 times out of 10 just checking a bag than anything else, instead of just being able to just do a carry on, just keep on going. It just takes up so much more space. I think we have a free check bag. So I've gotten down to the end of the chat. Thank you so much for coming this week. Thank you so much for supporting the way that you do. Thank you for having this conversation with me and with each other and sharing your thoughts on different things, travel, on MSC, NCL, on flights. And so meet me here next week. I will be back here next week. If you haven't checked out the videos of those individuals in the chat, make sure you go check out those videos. If you haven't checked out my videos, go check out my last video as well. And so therefore, so we can just support each other. Oh, thank you so much, Harkers. Have a great evening, great night. See you next week. And until next time, happy travels. Take care. Thank you so much for coming again.